Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are from. Well, I'm Anusha. I have around 10 years, more than 12 years of experience in terms of working with Microsoft products. I have been working with Microsoft Fabric since last 2 years, especially in data engineering and analytics. So I hope that today the session will be fruitful. Suparna, if you could start the PPT.
Yes. Sorry, Anusha, I'm speaking on mute. Hope it is visible now, correct?
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
You can request Anusha control.
I have requested the control. Did you get it? Did you receive the control, Suparna?
No, I didn't receive.
Okay, I'm sending it again.
Okay, let me do one thing. Let me stop and let me share my full screen.
Sure.
Now you can request.
Your screen is now not visible.
No, that's fine. Just you can share.
Suparna, that option will be enabled while we are sharing our screen.
Now?
Yeah, trying now.
Okay. Yes, please go ahead.
Sure. So, hi everyone again. Welcome to our DP700 study group focused on becoming a Microsoft certified Fabric data engineer. I am really excited to walk you through this because Microsoft Fabric is transforming how we think about modern analytics. Before we dive in, a quick thumbs up if you're already exploring Fabric or at least heard about it in the context of Power BI or Azure. Yeah, that's great. Happy to see so many thumbs up. If not, no worries. You are in the right place today. So we will start with understanding what the DP700 exam is all about, how it fits into the broader Fabric certification path. Then we will move on to the hands-on concepts, Fabric environment management, data ingestion, and integration. Think of this as your guided roadmap to both learning and getting certified. Suparna, I'm unable to go to the next slide.
Just click on the down arrow.
Yeah,
Anusha,
as present here, this is sure. Let me just check. I can't. I'm not able to get the access, Suparna, to change the slide.
Hold on. You went to a lot of slides previously.
Okay.
Just a minute.
I think it's a bit slow. Yeah.
Sure. It's a bit slow, Anusha. Just you can click once the drop down arrow, and it will go to the next slide.
There is a button is there. From here you can click.
Okay, that's great. That should be fine. Thank you. Yeah, sorry for the slight intervention, guys. Yeah, but see, so the 4 sessions planned for every weekend is first we will be understanding what the Fabric overview is. That is today. On 15th, we will be discussing more on the ingestion and transforming data, where we will be getting hands-on demo sessions in different aspects of Fabric. The third session would be about monitoring and optimizing the solutions. And the fourth session will be how how you need to prepare for your exam day. And we also have a lot of questionnaires, questionnaires we will be accepting. We also have a lot of tips and tricks coming up for the final session. Yeah, moving on to the certificate comparison first. Before we explore Microsoft Fabric in detail, it is useful to understand how the current certification landscape has evolved, particularly how DP700 fits within the broader set of a Microsoft data certification. Historically, Microsoft's core data engineering certification was DP203, that is Data Azure. DP203 focused on building and maintaining data solutions across Azure services, such as your Azure Data Factory, Azure Synapse Analytics, Azure Data Lake Storage, and Azure Databricks. This certification validated the ability to design and implement data pipelines, manage data integration, and support analytics solutions in a traditional Azure environment. However, these solutions were largely service-based. In parallel, the PL300, that is Microsoft Certified Power BI Data Analyst Associate, was to serve the foundational credential for professionals specializing in data analysis and visualization. I'm still unable to go to the next slide. If you could help me out here.
Yes, we are on the next slide.
Yeah, if you could go to the certification comparison.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. So in parallel, the PL300 Microsoft Certified Power BI Data Analyst Associate Certificate was to serve the fundamental credentials for the professionals specialized in data analysis and visualization. With the introduction of Microsoft Fabric, Microsoft redefined its data platform strategy, bringing analytics, engineering, and business intelligence into a unified software as a service experience, basically your SaaS. To align with this shift, Microsoft introduced two new certifications, that is DP600 and DP700, representing distinct but complementary roles within the Fabric ecosystem only. So the DP600, Microsoft Certified Fabric Analytics Engineer Associate certification emphasizes the analytics and modeling aspects of Fabric. So basically, DP600 covers topics such as Power BI semantic models, direct lake mode, performance optimization, and end-to-end analytics, but within the Fabric environment, of course. Professionals who are pursuing DP600 typically have experience with Power BI and are focused on designing efficient, scalable models that enable advanced analytics and reporting. But when it comes to DP700, which is your Fabric Data Engineer Associate, it focuses on data engineering and orchestration within the Fabric environment. Next slide, please. So DP700 is designed for people who want to master the new world of data engineering, where everything is connected, automated, and AI ready. So basically, see, we have entered a new era, which is the Fabric era, where data engineers, analytics, and BI are no longer separate disciplines. They all converge inside a single platform, which is Microsoft Fabric. And DP700 is your proof that you understand how to make that unified world work end to end. So what does this certification actually cover? Well, there are basically the three main skill domains that you will have to learn. And each of it are roughly around 1/3 of the exam. So the first is ingestion and transforming data, which we will be looking at today. The second is your securing and managing analytics solution. And the third, which is monitoring and optimizing solutions. Basically, you're tuning performances, debugging jobs, and ensuring data quality at scale. Now, here is something cool. If you have worked with Power BI, Data Factory, or Azure Synapse before, you already have a strong foundation for DP. DP700 just helps you translate these skills into the Fabric ecosystem where everything runs together as one SaaS platform. Think of, you can think of learning this as a new language probably. And once you speak Fabric fluently, you're not just a BI developer or a data engineer anymore. You will now be called a Fabric data professional. Am I audible, guys? I just got a message that I'm not.
In middle of that, your voice was breaking.
Yeah, no, it's fine,
Okay,
Anusha.
is that fine now? Okay, I'm
Yes,
sorry
yes,
for
now
that.
it's fine.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thanks for that. So in order to understand the three categories, now that we have gone through the three categories, here is a in-depth information. That is, what does the first 30 to 35% contain? That is how you configure your Microsoft Fabric workspace settings, the entire lifecycle management of Fabric, along with security and governance and the ETL process, basically called your orchestration. The second will be how you actually ingest and transform the data. That is, how do you get data from different sources into the Fabric environment, and how do you transform it to get your final, say, gold layer of tables. The third is your monitoring and optimization. This will be more like how how you cover your how do you monitor the Fabric items and their performance. How do you monitor the Fabric capacity? Is it performing to the minimal, or what is the what is this what exactly is the item or the task that is taking up more capacity, and how do we actually identify it, and how do we optimize it? These all comes under the third category, which is your optimization. Moving on to the next slide. Let's move on and understand what is Fabric exactly about. So Fabric is your Microsoft's all-in-one data platform. You can think of it like, a super app for data. It brings together everything you need to work with. So no matter who you are, be a data engineer or a BI developer, or just someone who wants to build, cool dashboards and insights. Earlier, we had separate tools for everything. We used Synapse for warehousing. We used Power BI for reporting. We used Data Factory for pipelines. And each of them did a great job on their own. But they were like, the cousins that kind of don't talk to each other. So Fabric brings all of them under one roof. Now they speak the same language. They share the same storage, which is one lake, and they work together seamlessly. Here's what makes it even more interesting. As I mentioned before, it's a SaaS native. So you do not need any servers to spin up. You do not need any clusters. You need not worry about the patching. You just log in, you pick your workload, the data movement, engineering, warehousing, science, or reporting, you are good to go. Now, you see, guys, Fabric has been in discussion for a couple of years now. And in the past 1.5 years, it has been exploding in adoption. Everyone is talking about it. And with AI becoming the center of every data conversation, Fabric is perfectly timed. Because here's the truth. To get a good AI, you need to have a good data. And to get data, you need a platform that minimizes complexity and maximizes outcome. And that's exactly what Fabric does. Fabric is deeply infused with Copilot and low-code, no-code capabilities, making it easier for anyone to build, automate, and analyze. So whether you code, click, or prompt, Fabric has got you covered. Let's move on to the next slide, which is One Lake. I'd like to think of Fabric in terms of 4 core pillars. That is, the all-in-one platform, second being the unified compute, third being the One Lake, and fourth being the Delta format. Let's break this down. One lake, that's the heart of Fabric. Think of One Lake as the one drive for your data. So, you know how in OneDrive you store your documents, Excel sheets, and PowerPoints all in one place? Well, same idea here. Every kind of data, every file, every piece of metadata all lives in this one lake. You can even create shortcuts to other sources or mirror external items like, Azure SQL or Snowflake. The idea is simple. Fabric's foundation is built so that all workloads can read, write to this single lake with minimal copies of data. Now, this solves one of the biggest problems we had in the past, which is duplication. Earlier, you might have built your own gold copy in Synapse or Azure SQL, and then you had to import the same import the same data into Power BI for reporting. Now, that meant multiple refreshes, extra storage, and redundant pipelines. But in Fabric, you see what happens. All the workloads understand each other. So if I save the structured data in a lakehouse, the warehouse can read it natively. Power BI can directly connect to the same data using direct lake mode. No duplication and no refresh lag. So everything is also in the same Delta packet format. Each engine, be it lakehouse, warehouse, data flow, pipeline, can read, write, or both directly into this unified storage, which is called your One Lake. So be it your raw data or be it your gold data, it's instantly queryable and instantly report ready. Now, can we move on to the next slide, please? I can see that I have been my voice is breaking. Am I audible, guys?
Yes, Anusha, you are audible.
Okay, thank you for that. So as you can see in this slide, it describes more about what OneLake is capable of. So all the Fabric data items that are stored in the data, they are automatically in the OneLake with the data Parquet file. It's also compatible to your existing ADLS Gen 2, including your Azure Databricks. And as I mentioned, this OneLake acts as if it's one big ADLS storage account. And each workspace appears as a container within the storage account, basically kind of your folders. Can we move on to the next slide? So overall, think of Fabric as a unified circle. So OneLake for your all data, Delta for your standardized storage, Compute for processing everything you need, and SAS for frictionless and scalable environment. So it's basically a simple philosophy that Fabric follows, which is one copy of data, one unified platform for all your, say, analytic workloads. So as you can see in this architecture diagram, it clearly shows what Fabric is capable of and what all components are present in Fabric. Begin to the, when you look at the first line here, we have various services that are available. We have data factory, data engineering for your ETLs. We have data science, warehousing, basically warehousing for your storing your data. We have also real-time intelligence. And in the end, we also have Power BI. So all these, and we can read it in any language that we know. That is, you can use a Spark, you can also use a T-SQL, you can have KQL, and you can also have your analysis service to build your business KPIs. Now, in the next slide, let's now look at how Microsoft environments are structured, which is an important area of focus for the DP700 certification. In Fabric, everything is organized in a clear hierarchy. So it is tenant, capacity, domain, workspace, and item. So understanding this hierarchy is very, very critical in your entire Fabric ecosystem because it defines how resources, governance, and performance are managed within your organization. The first, which is the top level, is your tenant. At this level, we have the tenant, which represents your organization in the Microsoft 365. So basically, it's like you can call it as your company. So this is where global governance, compliance, security, everything, data loss prevention policies, your sensitivity labels, your access permissions, all these are controlled at the tenant level. So every Fabric resource you create, whether it's a lakehouse, pipeline, or a Power BI report, lies within that tenant boundary. The next is the capacity, which is the compute layer, which is again a very crucial part. This provides the actual compute and storage resources that power the Fabric workloads. So each capacity has a defined size, like it starts from F2 and F4, F8, and so on, with F64 being the most highly used capacity because it's from F64 that you get free Power BI users privileges. So administrator, if you're looking at more like a Fabric administration role, then this capacity plays a very crucial role in your daily activities because you would be managing your capacity assignments, you will be performance tuning, scaling, and also you ensure the right balance between the cost and the performance. The third is the domain. So it's like basically organizing by business areas. The domain layer helps organize workspaces logically. So for example, it could be your finance, HR, or marketing. It makes it easier to delegate governance and also improve your data discoverability while still maintaining your enterprise-wide consistency. The fourth is the workspace. So basically on which the developers usually work, which is your collaboration hub. Within domains, we have workspaces, collaborative environments, and each workspace is linked to a specific capacity. And this can host all the items that basically Fabric objects like lakehouse, pipeline, notebooks, and
Hold on. I think someone is unmuted. Ajay, could you please check that? Who's that?
so
Done,
each workspace is, yeah, thank you for that. So you can assign different roles as well, admin, member, contributor, which we will be going as we move on to the next slides. The final one is the item. So items is basically, again, whatever you create. So data flow, Gen2 pipelines, Power BI reports, warehouse, your SQL workloads, etc. So to visualize this hierarchy, let me give you a very simple example. So the tenant is like the entire company. The capacities are the departments with their own compute budgets, like your sales department, your IT department, anyone who wants to come onto Fabric and host their databases. The third is domains, which are functional areas like your finance or marketing. And your workspaces are basically project teams. So if I belong to a specific team, I would have a specific workspace on which only we will be having access to. Let's move on to understanding the Fabric workspaces. So let's understand what a Fabric works. So this is exactly how a Fabric workspace is. And we will also be going to a demo session at the end of this. So where I'll be walking you through all this on live. So as of now in this screenshot, you can see that on the left side is where we have all the workspaces. And number 2 is where all the Fabric items can be created. The number 3 is where you identify on what capacity your workspace is. So at present, it's on Fabric trial capacity. On the 4th is how you manage your access, like which kind of access, like there could be, a different one lake accesses that you provide for different members of your team. And the 5th is your workspace settings, which is similar to your Power BI workspace settings, and of course with a new options for your Fabric. If we move on to the next slide, we have here you can see what the Fabric workspace settings are actually here. So for someone who's been working with Power BI workspace settings, you might see a clear differentiation or additional things that have come up here. For example, we have Azure connections. So each workspace can connect to your Azure resources like your ADLS Gen2 for data access or Azure Log Analytics for monitoring. You also have, say, JIT integration. You can link your workspace to a JIT repository for your CI/CD pipelines. This enables version control, collaboration, and deployment consistency, which is a key part of professional data engineering workflows. You also have, say, one lake settings. So here you can configure shortcuts, caching to share. You can also do your caching to share data efficiently, and you can also have your governance and performance settings here. You also have workspace identities, which is basically a workspace having a managed identity within itself, and how you can secure that authentication to external services. You also have network security. Basically, this is for the admins to configure private endpoints and manage the virtual networks to isolate the data movement. So this network security is a very important aspect of Fabric in general, because by doing this, you're actually protecting your existing, say, if you have a production lakehouse or a warehouse which has sensitive data and you want to protect it within your company's environment, then this is the way to do. And then we have event house integration. This is usually for your to capture your telemetry and monitoring activity. We also have different options where we can have Spark settings, where you can control this is for people who are already experienced in Spark, where you can have the default Spark pool settings enabled. You can compute your size, you can set your runtime, and you can also uh, have settings for your airflow job. So this ensures the optimal performance and also cost efficiency for each of your workloads. If we move on to the next slide, that is data security. So in terms of data security, Fabric has provided four levels of data security to be in general. That is your workspace roles, your item permissions, compute or granular permissions, and the one-lake data access. If we move on to the next slide, we can have a more briefer idea on what workspace levels are. So for anyone who is already familiar with Power BI, this access is similar to the access that we had previously in Power BI. That is four accesses. You have your admin, member, contributor, and reader. So admin being obviously having the full control of the workspace. Member having slightly less accesses when compared to the admin, but it's more like having a limited admin control. That is, you cannot assign roles or delete the workspace, but in terms of development, you have all the accesses that are required. The third is the contributor, where they can contribute to only specific resources, and the fourth being only read only access to the workspace. So this is mostly for ideal for stakeholders who wants to view the Fabric, the Power BI or the paginated reports that people have developed on Fabric environment. Moving on to the next slide. Here, as I mentioned before, we can have accesses at 3 different levels as well. That is your tenant level access. So this is more in the Azure portal end, where you can say only few people can have access to create the workspaces and resources. So this is more like an admin role. And then we have workspace level accesses, which we have just discussed. And the third is individual level access. So within the workspace itself, say we have data flow pipelines. We have, say, lakehouse, warehouse, everything. If everything is in the same warehouse, we can even control how people can access each of this item. So if you move on to the next slide, this is an example where we can show, where I am showing how a lakehouse or a warehouse level accesses work. And this also is a very frequently asked question, I can say, on the DP 700 exam, where we will, mostly it's for your context type of questions, where we get this, a big information about the team and who and what are working on who and what kind of accesses have to be given to what kind of teams. So this is where exactly the entire, you can get the information from this particular slide. So for any lakehouse, for example, you can have 3 additional permissions. Basically, one where you can give only SQL endpoint ka read, and then you have only Apache Spark. This for basically for say your analytics, and the first one being for your probably your Power BI reports or any reporting. And the third is like build reports on the default semantic model, which is of course now no longer present. At the warehouse level, we do have more different options, because it's more like, you have audit queries, and you have to also monitor queries. You can also have read one data lake. So basis on the requirement of that particular team member, you can actually assign only those specific rights. So this is I hope you guys take some time out and do your research and try to understand more about this, because this plays a crucial level in terms of accesses in the entire Fabric setup, as well as DP 700, which I've just mentioned, guys. So moving on to the next slide. If you could click once again. Yeah, thank you. So in terms of CI/CD in the Fabric, it has, Fabric supports Git integration with Azure DevOps and also GitHub. So you can implement your CI/CD using deployment pipelines, configure version control, and even automate promotions between development, test, and production environments. So if you worked with Power BI deployment pipelines before, this is kind of very much similar, but just at an enterprise scale, because it has more, obviously Fabric has more objects to play with. So for example, say consider you have a deployment pipeline, and you have, say, 3 workspaces, one being UAT, one being production, and the second being your pre-prod, and the third being your production. And you can have one single deployment pipeline. Say, suppose you are trying to deploy a semantic model. So by setting the environment variables in that pipeline, you can actually move your semantic model from development to production. So, and you can also take the advantage of using Fabric REST APIs here. Moving on to the next slide. Let's talk about the third most important aspect, that is flexible and comprehensive ingestion capabilities. So in order for the data engineering perspective of the Fabric, we have many items that Fabric has provided. The first being your data flow Gen 2, which Power BI developers, kind of can relate with, because Dataflow Gen 2 has your Power Query editor where you can do your transformation similar to how you do it on a Power BI desktop. The second being your data factory pipelines. Again, Azure engineers who have worked on ADFs can easily relate to this data factory pipelines. It's more or less on the same source to destination kind of mapping. The third is your notebooks where you can run your queries. More towards the say the analytic team members. You also have shortcuts. You also have mirroring, and event streams is where this is for real-time data processing. The final one could be a direct approach, which we will be looking at in the demo session. Moving on to the next slide. In terms of Fabric coming in, in data storage, like although I know that I have used these terminologies in the part of my discussions that have been happening now, but I still take a point in putting forth what kind of storage capabilities Fabric is having. So we have Lakehouse, which is for both of your structured and unstructured data. Your data warehouse, similar to your on-premises SQL server that you may have been using till now, where of course your data is only structured. We have SQL database, which is more in terms of OLTP. Basically, it's compatible for your OLTP applications where you want to have where you have high rates of read-write operations that keep continuing. And the fourth is your event house, basically your KQL, which is for your real-time processing. Moving on to the next slide. How do you choose an ingestion method? Now, this is also a very interesting aspect because Fabric has given us so many options, but then what kind should we consider to start with? Because yeah, of course, too many options now. So the first you could consider is data volume. You start by assessing how much data you have and that how much data basically you need to move. For large scale or high through ingestions, pipelines or Spark ingestions in Spark ingestions, the notebooks are typically the best. And you see, for smaller or incremental loads, you can have copy data or Dataflow Gen 2, which is the generalized tool that you would use. And you should also consider the data types. Basically, if it's a structured table, you might want to go with pipelines or data flows. If it's semi-structured, like JSON or CSV, you would often find benefits if you use notebook or Spark ingestion. And it also depends on your ingestion frequency. So if it's real time, you would use event-based triggers. If it's scheduled batches, say once a day or twice a day, you would use your data flows or pipelines. It also depends on, and the most major important, which I find is a very reasonable option to consider, is the developer persona and skill set. So while Fabric, gets everyone onboarded and is accepts everyone's skills. So it also depends. So suppose I being a data engineer and I've been working on SQL for most of my life, then I would probably, more into data engineering, I would look at using ADF. But if someone who has been very good at say your Spark or Python and well versed there, they would kind of consider notebooks for their use. So basically, whatever Fabric is going to accept you and help you out there. So that becomes of course, a major thing to consider. So the other going forward to the other needs, so you have integration needs. Basically, how do you want to it depends on how do you want to connect to your multiple resources. It also primarily depends on your performance requirements, like is it Spark compute or parallel pipelines, or if you require high performance. So based on that also. And the fourth is also for complex data transformations. So for complex data transformations that you want to apply, you would kind of use notebooks and data flows. Moving on to the next slide. How do you choose a data store in Fabric? Again, since we have Lakehouse, we have Warehouse, we also have a SQL database. So a warehouse is more like in terms of T-SQL, as I mentioned before. So it also depends on the kind of data that is present in the kind of data they have to push into the Fabric. So if it's more like both structured and unstructured, probably you will go for a Lakehouse. But if the data is more like very much structured, you have all the facts, all the dimensions ready for reporting, you would probably want to choose a warehouse. Now, this choosing may also be dependent on the type of skill set that your team has basically. So if you're a development team that has been again working on SQL, coming onto Fabric, you might want to use a warehouse because it has all the SQL capabilities. And if you're someone who's coming from an analytics and AI team, you might want to, and also dealing with say unstructured data, you want to come up to, you want to choose a data, a lake house. And of course, the other two, if yours is an OLTP requirement, you go for a SQL database. And if yours is an live streaming, you go for an event house. If we could go to the next slide, please. So let's go deeper in understanding what kind of data integration capabilities that Fabric has. So the first being your data flow Gen 2, your pipelines, notebook, and real-time intelligence. Basically, these are the three aspects of ETL that are present in Fabric. Moving on to the next slide. Suparna, if you could go, yeah, thank you so much. So as I mentioned before, this is a typical screenshot of your Fabric pipeline where you are using multiple types of tasks. First being your copy data, and on failure, you're trying to run a notebook. So it's more like an orchestration. It's more similar to ADF pipelines if you guys are aware of, but not exactly, but more in terms of source and destination. The second slide, this slide is about Fabric notebooks. So it supports languages like your Spark SQL, Scala, Python, R, HTML. This is also used for your integrated data processing. It also lets you explore the data and visualization. You can use ML and AI, and also you can have your Spark integrations. Everything is available here. Moving on to the next slide. This is more in terms of Fabric real-time intelligence, as I've mentioned. So there are for the TP700 exam, if you guys are new into real-time intelligence, you would need to understand the terminologies first, like what exactly is an event stream, what exactly is an event house, what do you mean by KQL query set, and what real-time dashboard and activator mean. So event stream is basically the data stream that is coming up to the Fabric for ingestion and transformation. Event house is your storage, basically wherever this data is getting stored. KQL query set is where you can run your queries on this data. And real-time dashboard is are these reports that keep changing very quickly based on the KQL data set, query set you have created at the backend. Especially real-time intelligence, in our upcoming session, we have a very good demo planned. So do join for the upcoming sessions, and you will have a very good hands-on experience. I can assure you that. Moving on to the next slide.
I think we can go for demo, Anusha.
Yeah, thank you so much. So now that we have done a lot of talking, I have done a lot of talking. So let me just give you a slide demo. I'll be taking through you on the basics of Fabric understanding, like how the Fabric environment looks like, and what features are there, and we'll also try to run few we'll try to ingest some data into Fabric. So as you can see, this is your typical powerbi.com looks like. You have your regular workspaces, you have your reports and semantic models. So now if you want to explore Fabric, it's just on a click of a button where you click here, you can see that you have an option to go to Fabric. So once we go to Fabric, you can see there's various, it's a wide range of templates that are available for us to quickly start onboarding on Fabric. We have basic data analytics pre-designed templates that are available. We also have good learn documents that you guys could go through. Let's go ahead and create a workspace for us first. Let's click on a new workspace, give it a nice name. We do not have a domain now, so I'm going to skip that. Here, I'm choosing the trial Fabric capacity workspace. Capacity, since I do not have a premium capacity. But if someone has a Fabric capacity, they can actually go and choose this option. So let's click apply. So our workspace is ready. the first few steps, let's try to create a lakehouse and a warehouse first. So when you click on new item, you can see all the things that we have been talking about in the past 45 minutes. So as of now, I'm going to select I'm going to create a lakehouse. I'm going to give it a nice name or a very simple name.
Anusha, sorry to interrupt you. Could you please switch on your power?
I'm sorry.
Could you please switch on your laptop power? Showing.
Okay. Okay, just a second. Yeah, it's charging now. Thanks for the information. So let's do a very simple, let's try to see how fast we can actually, get a data into Fabric. So I'll just go to and choose a CSV file from my end. Here, let me try and select customer data. And I'll click on upload. So once my CSV is uploaded, I can view it in my files. And the quickest way to push this data into the tables is just right click on the file, and here you go. You can load this into the Delta Lake format. It takes a second to load. Let's just wait. So here you go. You have your customer data ready. So this is I can call this as the quickest way that you can push data into Fabric. Let's try and connect with a data flow Gen 2. Before that, I would go ahead and create a warehouse also. I hope I'm audible, guys. If you could confirm, Suparna.
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm creating a data flow here, and I'll try to get that Excel into the lakehouse. So I will be choosing import from Excel. Click on the upload file, and I'll try to get this data from my desktop. Sorry, I have to choose the CSV here. I was selecting the Excel workbook. So going back, uploading the file again. So we can also have the option to preview the data. So here you go. This is nothing but sounds similar to your Power Query editor, right? Yeah. In the applied steps, you can actually do, through the applied steps, you can understand that you can proceed with your transformations. The transformations you might want to do, delete duplicates, create your own calculated columns or whatever is required as per the business requirement. Choose a data destination. So here in the data destination, I'll be choosing a lakehouse. In the next, I would be getting an option to choose which lakehouse I want to push my data in. So here I have fabrics. In the fabric session, I will be selecting the lakehouse name. So this is my lakehouse 1, and I would like to continue with the table name as orders. You can have your column mappings also, guys. Once your data destination is set, you have several options here where you can save and just keep, or you can save and run, and you can also save, run, and close. So I would want to choose this option, and it's going to save the data flow and also run it, of course. It is notifying us that the data flow is currently running. You can check the status of the data flow from here in the workspace itself. As you can see, previously we had a lakehouse. Now we have a data flow 1 that we have created again in the same lakehouse, in the same workspace. In the run history, if you want to see the run history as well, we have options called recent runs here, where you can see how many times the data flow has run and whether it was successful or not. So as you can see, now that we have begun, it's in progress. By the time this is running, let's go ahead and create a warehouse also for our demo purpose. For that, I'll be clicking on new item, selecting a warehouse here. Sorry, I think I clicked on some other option. Not giving some fancy names. I accept that. So there you go. Our workspace is also, the warehouse is also ready. While this is still in progress, let's try to push data from the lakehouse to this new warehouse. And let's try to use copy job activity, guys. For that, I'll be clicking on the new item again and selecting copy job. While the copy job is opening, I'm just trying to refresh it. Yeah, this is now succeeded. The data flow has run. Let's go and check the lakehouse, and if we can see our table here. Yeah, there you go. We have orders table ready through the data flow gen 2. Now let's try to use the copy job activity and push this customer table into a warehouse. In the recent we can easily select the data source as lakehouse 1 here and move forward. Here you can select the table that you want to push to the warehouse first. And then choose your destination. The destination I want is the warehouse 1. So I'm going to directly select that. And use the full copy option. Again, I get an option to table mapping, which I do not want to do at this moment. I'm going to do a full copy. So I'll save and run this up. So it has deployed the copy job. So I can see it here in my workspace again, and it is currently running. So if I look at the recent runs, I can see that, okay, this has not started, but we can actually trigger it from here as well. Or I think it has already, or it's already running. So let it run in the background. So it's currently running. So moving back to the warehouse here, I mean the workspace here, we can also create a pipeline activity. Let's try and do that. In this pipeline activity, what we can do is the two jobs that we have, I mean the two items that we have just created, that is your data flow Gen 2 as well as this copy job. We can add this in this pipeline and run an orchestration, and probably we can also schedule it. So this is a copy job activity, and I'm going to select the one that I have just created. Which is copy job 1. So once this is done, we also had a data flow Gen 2, right? So I'm going to select that, and in the settings, I will be choosing the one that I just created, which is my data flow. So I can, okay, I'll have to create the connection. And I can actually save this up and also run. I can run this and I can also schedule this. So schedule will be more type, you can have the option here where I can run now. And I can also add a schedule where, I can have the timing set. So this say refreshes every once a day, starting from today to tomorrow. And also give a standard IST timings here. So this is now turned on. So this is how I have gone through 3 different types of data ingestion here. First, we went with the direct file upload to the lakehouse. Then we also saw what data flow Gen 2 is. We also saw how a copy job can work, and we have gone through what an orchestration looks like. Now finally there's also one option that we can consider, that is lakehouse. So in the lakehouse, we can actually create shortcuts. And I will, because see what we have done in the copy job activities, that we have tried to push the same table into the warehouse. So by doing that, we are actually maintaining the same data in 2 different spaces, correct? So instead of not doing that, Fabric gives us a capability where we can use the shortcuts where the data is still lying somewhere at one place, but we can just query it from this particular lakehouse. So for that, I can just right click on the table here and click new shortcut. And in this new shortcut, I can select one more table that I have. Say for example, I have customer data here. So I'm going ahead and I'm trying to create the same table in this lakehouse, but of course as a shortcut. So there you go. We have a customer data readily available, but as you can see in this symbol, this is more of a shortcut. So this is not a direct table that's physically available in this workspace. It's it's through a shortcut that we've actually gotten this data from the warehouse. So ideally talking, we do not need this customer data anymore, because we might want to try and ensure that the data has to be at one particular place. So, so guys, I think this ends the demo session from my end, and I hope that you are now getting more familiar with that we have in the Fabric environment. So we started with a direct upload. We went ahead for data flow Gen 2. We also looked what copy job does. We orchestrate a pipeline. We also understood what a shortcut does. In our upcoming second session, we will be going further into the data ingestions into complete demo, guys. So that's all from my end, and I hope that I was able to meet your satisfactions, and thanks for this opportunity, the NDAC team. Thanks a lot. So
Yeah,
over to you,
thank you,
Suparna.
Anusha. Thank you. It's a great
Thank
session,
you.
wonderful session. It's a wonderful session. We
Thanks.
learned a lot from you. So Ajay,
Hello.
There are
yeah.
few questions.
Yes, we can go for Q&A first, then later we can start the quiz. Yes, Ganesh.
Anusha, could you please let me know, I
Uh,
mean, what is the disadvantages of Fabric also, if it is possible?
I'll
Anusha,
tell
you are
you.
on mute.
I'll tell you, Rakesh. So as of
Yeah,
now, I
sorry.
observed one thing is you are not going to directly create a copy of semantic model. Already
Exactly.
Anusha is experienced at that in the real time.
Okay, okay. Because actually one thing is, Anusha, because the thing is, I mean, we can't handle, I mean, there is auto scaling, right? We can't, I mean, auto scalings, we can't unexpected compute charges if not monitored. So that is one of the thing like I observed in Fabric.
Okay, so unexpected charge cost, as in, are you not taking on a reserved capacity, Rakesh?
Like what do you mean? Like
What may I know what you mean by extra charges
I mean,
that you just answered?
for
Hmm.
example, in Databricks, we have job clusters and all purpose, right?
Yeah.
So based on that, we will, so I mean, job clusters for development and all purpose is production. So I mean,
Okay.
auto scaling is, I mean, terminated automatically in job clusters and in all purpose, we will manually stop. We will manually create and stop. But in
Okay.
Fabric, how will you operate this auto scaling? Because auto scaling, if we not operated properly, we will get the charges, right? So the cost
Yeah.
is
So
also
let me tell you on that, Rakesh. So we have two options for Fabric capacity. It's like pay as you go and reserved. So
okay.
if you go by pay as you go and say suppose you are working on an F8 capacity,
Mhm,
so it is not going to charge you extra. If your capacity is turned on for all the time, it will first there are two aspects that you should be understanding on capacity. That is throttling and distribution. So there's something called throttling here, Rakesh. So if say for example the F8 capacity is not enough for your workloads, then it's going to throttle, and that is like it will go very slow, and some users may not be able to see Power BI reports, but it doesn't stop you from that, but it goes very slow. And this capacity monitoring can be done through Fabric capacity monitor. So you will not get extra charges from what I know,
okay.
but
Okay.
since because pay as you go, if you choose a pay as you go. And also if you go for a reserved capacity, that's again like you are reserving, say for example F64.
Okay.
How
Okay. Okay.
Fabric capacity works is that, see, at this point maybe at 7 o'clock your data workload is very high. Okay,
Okay.
but it doesn't cost you extra. What happens in the background now, the Fabric capacity is beautifully designed, very intelligent. So it's going to say at 7 o'clock it's very high, and at 9 o'clock people have left the office and it has reduced and there's no workload. So this capacity gets distributed into the 9 a.m. So the ideal capacity, like over the night when someone is not using na, the ones where the capacity was highly used, that gets distributed towards the time that was not used. So
Acha,
Fabric
okay.
tries to, do the try to balance the cost like that, Jumper. And for
Okay.
example, it cannot do, and there's like it doesn't have space to actually distribute it. Then it goes to a throttling mode, which you can observe in your capacity monitor matrix, from where you
Okay.
understand that my capacity is not enough. I have to increase my capacity or
Okay.
decrease my workloads. So I
Okay.
hope that answers your question, right?
Oh, yeah, got it.
Thank you. Thanks for that.
Yeah, thank you, Anisha.
Okay, next, Ganesh, you please go ahead.
Yes, actually, I have joined very late to do
Okay.
for the sessions. Does the recording is available for the session?
Yes, Ganesh, we will provide you right after the session.
Okay, okay. Then it's okay. No issue. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Next, Ketan, please go ahead.
Thank you, Suparna. Thank you, Ajay, for organizing this. Anusha, my one question is related to the pipeline. Okay.
Okay.
In this today's session, we did one activity of moving the data from the lake house to the warehouse, right? And
Yeah.
again, connecting it with the Azure data, means data flow Gen 2. So are we moving the data which is there in the warehouse to the data flow Gen 2 in terms of table, means in terms of data set?
Yeah, in the current demo, I was through Dataflow Gen 2, I was just trying to get an on-premises, Excel from my personal device to the Lakehouse actually, Ketan. But
Okay.
in the Dataflow Gen 2 itself, you can select it's not just for on-premises. It's not just for personal, but you can select your Fabric Lakehouse and also like any other data sources that works on Dataflow Gen 2. So you have wide variety of that. It's not just
Okay.
limited to this. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Just in this context of this, okay, sorry to interrupt
okay.
you.
Yeah.
Like when we have selected one activity of copy data, right? So it when we say the pipeline, is it performing that activity of copy data and then moving it to the data flow, or it is just
Yes.
that we have taken activity and then connected to the data flow?
No. So what I had done now, I had created a data flow Gen 2, some activity. I pushed some data. Then I created a copy data job. Then I orchestrated. I opened a pipeline. I just used the same. These both are not new. These are the existing ones that I created. Okay. So I
Okay.
just linked both of them, and I'm just telling the Fabric, ki, see, I want the schedule 9 a.m. You first run the data flow Gen 2, and then you run the pipeline. I'm sorry, the copy job. So it's
Okay.
just the orchestrating, but it's
Okay.
the same ones that are being called, Ketan.
Okay. Understood.
So hope
Got
that's
it.
clear. Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks, Anisha.
Thank you.
And Anusha,
Kiran?
in upcoming sessions, hope we will implement Fabric data catalog also.
Yeah, I'll check with next upcoming speakers, Rakesh. And the
Okay.
next session is second session, which is happening on 15th of this month, which is going to led by Rajendra Ongol. He is a Microsoft MVP. I'll request
Okay.
him.
Okay. First of all, thank you spending your valuable time with us. Thank you, Anisha.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, Rakesh.
Ajay, I
there
think
is-
we can go for quiz.
There are few questions left in the chat box. It will take a few more minutes. So Pranam is asking like, what is the limit on file size? Like when we are loading into the lakehouse.
No, I'll take this question, Anusha. So,
Sure.
Pranav, there is a blog. We'll share that blog in the chat box later. In that, you will get there is a blog, choose your data store. In that, they will clearly mention. I'll share that blog with you.
And same Rakesh, I think. Rakesh, that question was clear, right? Whatever you asked in the chat box.
Yeah, Fabric catalog.
Yeah,
Suparna
thank you.
sir is already explained.
Yeah. And Shubham is asking one question. He's asking like it's not clear how to connect this data to Power BI desktop. Like Shubham, like if you are in the call, you can ask like.
I can tell you, Shubham.
Hello.
Yes, please go
Yes, sir.
ahead.
Yes. Yeah, that's my question.
Okay. So Shubham, I hope that you have previously worked with Power BI before.
Yes.
Okay. So just as you connect to any different data source in Power BI, you have the option to connect to the Fabric warehouse
Yeah,
or the
yeah, I
Lakehouse
know.
in Power BI. Yeah. So is
That's
that
the
the
same
question that
process.
you're?
Yes, I just want to confirm that's the same process over here, or
Yes.
in any kind of differentiation it is.
Same process. Same process for creating reports, Shubham.
Okay, no issue. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Ajit is asking like if it is possible, could you please show us like how to get a trial access?
Okay, so for trail, Suparna, you might want to take up this question, or should I?
Trial access, if you are working in any organization, you can get that, or else you need to go for Microsoft Fabric website. We will share the blog how you need to create a Fabric trial account. We will share the blog link with you.
Ideally, if you're trying to, there are alternate ways also to create to create a Fabric trial license, but it usually takes minimum 90 days or 60 days to actually get it onboarded. If you're new to Power BI service.
Yeah, team. Next, Ajay is going to display a QR code. You could please scan that QR code and as well as click on the bottom link to participate in the quiz, as well as please share your valuable feedback. So your feedback is matters.
Yeah. Whoever is joined on mobile, right? So you can able to access this URL through your mobile. So or else like if you join through a desktop, right? Just you can scan your QR code through your mobiles.
And also I shared the link in the chat box.
Chat box. Yeah.
If you are facing any one issue with the form, please let us know. Hope you all are accessing the form and filling your details, and also you are answering the quiz questions. If anybody has any issue, please do let us know.